Ratchet and Clank is a very well-known series, with its first game in the entry originally being released on the PlayStation 2 in November of 2002. And the series is still pumping out games to this day, with the most recent one being Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which was released in June of 2021 for the PlayStation 5. There have been a total of 17 Ratchet and Clank games, if we include Secret Agent Clank. And I'd like to take a quick trip down memory lane and discuss the game that no one even remembers. Let's see. So we have the original trilogy on the PS2, as well as Deadlocked. Then we have the two PSP games. Yuck. Then we move into the PS3 era. We have 4 mainline games and 2 spin-offs. Then we have the bad PS4 game and Rift Apart, which we know is on the PS5. Oh, and don't forget about going mobile. Now that's all of them, right? Right? Ratchet and Clank Before the Nexus was released on December 18th of 2013 on iOS and Android. It is an endless runner game like Temple Run and Subway Surfers, where you play as Ratchet on a set of 3 grind rails, and you collect bolts to upgrade your weapons and gear, and try to get as far as you can. The game was released to promote Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, which released a month prior on the PlayStation 3. The game could be synced together with a PlayStation Network account to transfer Raritanium from the mobile game to the PS3, allowing you to have more Raritanium in Ratchet Into the Nexus to upgrade your weapons at the vendor. Now, when it comes to the story of this game, it's barely existent. Basically, a Terracnoid scientist named Fleabar Snuttleblast, who works at Pollux Industries, gets kidnapped by Vendra and Neftin Prague. They are seen flying away in their ship as Ratchet begins to chase them. That is the entire story. I kid you not. Now, why did the Pragues kidnap this Fleabar guy to begin with? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this story was literally directly pulled out of somebody's ass just so they could say the game has a story. Doesn't actually make sense. Now, what made this game stand out to me, other than it just having Ratchet, is that it was actually combat involved. Usually with most endless runners, your goal is just to simply run, jump, and dodge obstacles. But in Into the Nexus, your goal is not just to dodge obstacles, but there are also sections where enemies and crates appear. Now, while you could just simply dodge the enemies by moving left and right, you also have the ability to shoot and kill the enemies, dropping additional bolts. You also have Clank on your back, who can help you by doing a long jump covering more distance. And other than just enemies, there's also an actual boss fight with Neftin Prague. These additions to the endless runner category really stood out to me and made it a fun and unique experience for the player, allowing them to be more attached to the game instead of just the same mind-numbing gameplay for minutes straight until you finally die and start over the same process. Real quick, guys, YouTube shows me that 95% of you guys who are watching my videos are not subscribed. If you guys like Ratchet and Clank at all, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. Back to the video. This game features a lot of weapons and gadgets to keep things fresh as well. There are a total of 5 weapons in the game, those being the Constructo pistol, the Constructo shotgun, the Buzz Blades, the Predator launcher, and of course, the Rhino, which can all be purchased in the shop for bolts, as can the upgrades for the weapons. This excludes the Rhino, which can be unlocked by freeing 10 Terracnoids randomly scattered around the game. Along with many weapons to use, you can also purchase armor, which essentially allows you to take additional hits before dying. You start out not being able to survive a single hit, but as you upgrade your armor, you can absorb up to 3 hits before finally being taken out. This can be very useful to get new high scores and stock up on bolts. There are also loads of gadgets to purchase, making bolt collecting and enemy destruction a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun. Once purchased, they can be randomly found while playing the game and last for a temporary amount of time. The first gadget is the Armor Magnetizer, which for anybody familiar with the series knows that this increases the range of bolts collected for a short time. Next, we have the fan favorite Groovatron, which makes the enemies dance. We then have the Bolt Multiplier, which, it multiplies your bolt count. The Reflector, which can reflect projectiles back at enemies. The Rift Inducer, which creates a black hole that sucks up nearby enemies. We then have the Jetpack, which launches Ratchet into the air for a limited time, granting him invincibility for a bit, and also providing a line of bolts to collect. And last, but not least, we have the Tornado Launcher, which shoots miniature tornadoes all around the battlefield to kill enemies and pick up extra bolts. The only unique enemy in this game is the boss fight with Vendra and Neft in Prague. Every other enemy is taken directly from another Ratchet and Clank game. The Cerulean Swarmer, the Grub Snucker, the Tesla Drone, and the Thermo Splitter are all taken from Tools of Destruction, and the Proto Guard is taken from Crack in Time. It also features Zoom Goons directly from Into the Nexus. Overall, I think the enemy variety is still nice. It sucks that none of them are unique, but it's still nice to switch through environments and have different enemies to fight against. Now, I said you could sync the game with your PlayStation Network account to transfer Raritanium from before the Nexus to Into the Nexus. And yes, I realize how confusing this sounds. They definitely should have reconsidered what they called this game. Now, other than transferring it through PlayStation Network, Raritanium also randomly spawns throughout the map as you're playing. That is your main form of getting Raritanium for Into the Nexus. But you can actually just buy it from the shop for bolts. So, if you have enough bolts and you're just concerned about the Raritanium and not upgrading your weapons or gadgets, boom, you can go right to the shop and buy some Raritanium for Into the Nexus upgrades. Now, the music in this game overall isn't bad. The only problem with it is that none of it is unique, unfortunately. All of it is directly taken from Tools of Destruction, including the Kerwan theme, the Fast Tune Clank section song, the boss music from the arena, and many more, including the transition song that I've been using, which is literally just completing a challenge in the arena in Tools of Destruction. Overall, I think this game was really fun and unique from an Endless Runner standpoint. Obviously, nowadays, it's not on the App Store anymore, and it's pretty outdated as a mobile app now graphically and gameplay-wise. But for its time, I think it was a really good addition to the Ratchet & Clank franchise, and a fun way to play Ratchet on the go. Let me know what you guys think of this game in the comments. Have you played it before? Do you think it's a good game? Do you think they should bring it back to the App Store? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Ratchet & Clank content.